Look, I had a fun game designed to open this week's episode, but I'm in a bad mood, so I'm just skipping the formalities, and I'm just gonna ask Kyle, which one of these? We're gonna play a game. It's very simple.
Right. Okay.
Which one of these is an actual Nicolas Cage movie by title? We're gonna do a few rounds of this.
All right.
Okay.
I like this game.
All right. Hell's Half Acre or Pay the Ghost?
Hell's Half Acre or Pay the Ghost?
Yeah.
These are just good names for anything.
I think so too.
I think Pay the Ghost is the real Nicolas Cage movie.
You got it. Good job.
I didn't have any found. I just was guessing.
Yeah. By the way, you can play along at home too, everyone, if you're listening or driving. Pat Sajak retired, and I'm trying to get into that slot.
Bring it back around.
Hell's Half Acre is the name of a strip of bars that used to be in my our neighborhood in my hometown of Fort Worth. It used to be real gnarly.
So it is a good name for something.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
The Trust or Seeking Christ?
I think The Trust has got to be the Nick Cage movie.
Again, 2 for 2. Kinane's having a nice day at the ballpark. Okay.
All right. Okay. All right.
The Cyclist or Kiss of Death?
Is it Kiss of Death?
It is. God damn, I really thought I would get you on some of these. The Humanity Bureau or Furious Panties?
Ooh. Please let it be panties.
I think it's the Humanity Bureau.
It is.
The other one. All right.
4 for 4. I made that one up. I was proud of that one.
Furious Panties?
Yeah, and if any of you said Furious Panties that are playing along at home, gross.
That is not the name of something from your hometown?
No.
All right.
Okay, here we got one more. This depends on if you go 5 for 5, Kinane.
All right.
Could have a perfect day at the ballpark. Rage of Christ, Astro Boy.
Rage of Christ?
Yeah.
I think Astro Boy is the...
5 for 5. Let's go to the bonus. We got one more. All right.
I thought that was the
I wanted it to be, but I got one more good one, and I forgot. I saw it here on the other page.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Hands Down or Angel's Lips? Hands Down or Angel's Lips. This determines whether or not Kyle Kinane goes 6 for 6.
But never seen
Nicolas
or heard
Cage.
of any of these movies, by the way.
Yeah, well,
Hands
I can't
Down
pick the
or
ones that he's known
Angel's
for.
Lips?
Yeah.
Is it Angel's Lips?
It's actually neither. I made it up. I just didn't want you to have a perfect day. We'll be right back. Hit the music, Charlene.
Pal, you're good with words. You know that, man?
I think the gym is dumb.
Did Rachel walk in the room? Of course I'm eating a Baconator.
Man, if you ain't doing CrossFit, you can get cross-buff.
You're right. A long burger's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
That's your sitcom right there as a Mr. Fix-It-All who just can't fix his heart.
We will not be defending Atlantic City.
No accounting for taste. If it's something that somebody loves, let's try and celebrate it instead of shitting on it.
Okay. How you doing, buddy? How was a fun game?
It was tough. I know that I actually read a lot of the research for this week for once.
Me too.
And
yeah, you mean
and
we read about this, but we didn't read enough about anything important.
Yeah, we never educated ourselves on like religions or geography. But, Nick Cage movie. Let me find out more about Nick Cage, what he's up to.
Hey, some neighborhoods you're born in, you gotta fucking, you know them like the back of your hand.
Well, I kind of, you know what? I think I'm doing catch up in my life for like, I did not get into the big time silly action movies in the 90s. Not for anything. It's like what your crew of friends is into. I saw some
Just
of them.
got, like, whatever, but you weren't actively trying not to see them. But
no, but I don't remember them making an impact. Like people are like, oh, the Rock or all these movies. I think I maybe saw them in the theater, but if I saw them and it was any point from 1995 on, and I was in the movies, I was high as shit. I remember less than somebody who only knows about the movie from the trailers. For having somebody who saw the
Say that again. I'm sorry,
movie.
I don't quite. What are you saying? Say that again.
I remember less of these movies for having seen them in the theaters as high as I was than somebody who had never seen the movies and only saw the trailers for those movies. That's how little I know of these movies. I know I saw Face Off. I know I saw The Rock. I know I saw Con Air. Could not tell you a single thing about those movies. And I'm sure I saw him in the theater.
You can't tell me anything about The Rock.
I remember.
I'm going to say things right now, and tell me if they ring a bell at least. Okay.
I mean, I know it's like there's a missile that's stolen.
Okay.
And Sean Connery's in it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a cave. Is there a cave in an island or an island?
It takes place on Alcatraz. Yeah.
Oh, that's why it's called The Rock. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there, I was like, is it in a cave?
You got the. I mean, that's enough for an elevator pitch, buddy. You got some confidence.
But I remember, yeah. It's honestly, it's like we're trying to figure out. Like I got I hit my head in an accident. And we're like, let's see what he remembers from his youth.
Well, I mean, like it is like those three movies: The Rock, Con Air, and what was the third one you said?
Face Off. Which I watched recently.
They all feel like there's probably a bit of fan fiction on the internet that like jumps 10 years and this is just the same guy's life, like same guy living a different life. Like yeah. Like they're all the same universe of insane and awesome. Yeah. I love every one of those movies. They keep me company during the middle of the day on a Saturday if I'm on the road by myself. They are one of those is on for sure.
I have a big hang up if a movie's on like TBS or a commercial channel. I will not watch a movie that is interrupted by commercials. Even if it's a terrible movie, I'm like, this movie does not deserve to be broken up in this fashion. TV shows are written around advertisements. TV shows are written to be delivered with advertisements in the middle. Movies with advertisements.
I love that.
Really? I'd rather try to listen to an album. I'd rather try and listen to any one of my records and have a DJ's first day try to scratch mix the record for me than watch commercials in a movie.
You know what it is? It's because I'll watch it and I'll be like, I know it's a waste of time to watch this movie for the 20th time. But if it's on, I'll be like, next commercial break, I'm putting on my shoes and I'm leaving right now. So I like... It serves as a marker of productivity.
We should defend movies on basic cable because I'm already watching a dumb movie and now here's like
now it's 3 hours instead of 2.
Yeah, here's a commercial for Dyson vacuums or something in the middle of it. I'm like this everything about this sucks. Like I said, I'd rather have a 3-year-old get a hold of a record player with pet sounds spinning on it. And listen to just what they destroy through their ineptitude. Then watch a masterpiece get destroyed by capitalism.
Well, somehow we still have not mentioned the man's name outside of the intro. But we're talking about the great Nick Cage this week, everybody. It's I think it's a very interesting topic this week because he's had his ups and downs for sure. And he's had his personal ups and downs and professional ones. Let's trying our best to stick to professional.
Well, I mean, just going by personal stories, I will say that early on, I remember one of my favorite movies, and still to this day, is Raising Arizona.
Yeah. Can I tell you something?
Yes, you can.
I don't
That's what we do on this podcast.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you just defined a podcast.
Can I tell you something or not?
Can you?
All right. I have seen Raising Arizona, but I don't remember anything about it.
What?
And hold on. I mean, I remember a few things, but I remember as much as Kyle does about The Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
I implore you to watch Raising Arizona.
100%.
I'm sure. Here's the thing. This is why I wanted to do this subject. I feel like you and I have taken in Nicolas Cage's canon in remarkably different way. I feel like we're like, what you're going to start at the beginning of this book, and I started at the back, and hopefully we'll end up on the same page in the middle, because I have watched a lot of his dog shit and not his more heralded stuff, knowingly.
Yeah, well, people came to it, and it also might be like, I got a couple years on you. Yeah. So when like the formidable years of like all the crazy action stuff in the 90s, I was kind of already like, it's unfair to like be like, I'm not trying to sound like snotty or anything, but like once I could start going to like see music or something, like I was out. I was not going to movies. Like high school was like, you go to movies with your friends on the weekends in high school, and I was always going to see. Like, I was going to see bands or stuff with buddies. It wasn't so much of, like, we're going to the movies. Or if we did, I also probably saw a lot of bands that I can't remember because I was pretty ripped to the tits. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely did plenty of both, but I know what you're saying. And plenty of movies. I mean, I think I saw the first. I might have seen every American Pie in the theater. So, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was like already. I was kind of like, I got other stuff going on.
Yeah,
but so to start out, so he was in early like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He was early stuff. I didn't see. I remember. I have,
which is a great movie.
I think my
super
dad
dependent on him though.
Yeah, I think my dad took me to the theater to see Raising Arizona, which I don't have a core memory of that. I think it was just. I think I remember like, oh yeah, I saw this in the theater. And I didn't, because at that point I would have been 10 years old.
Are you sure you saw it in the theater, or you just feeling sentimental because yesterday was Father's Day?
No, it was one of the few times where my mom was like, do something with your kids. And so we went and saw, like Zach Toscani has an excellent bit about this already, about him knowing like what the plot of Sex Lies and Videotape was by the time he was 9 years old, because those are the movies his dad took him to see. But this was like, yeah, I remember going to Raising Arizona, and I thought it was like funny, but I didn't know why, because it's a Coen Brothers movie, and like seeing it a few years later and just
getting more of the jokes and stuff.
Yeah, and every performance and him being this podunk doofus that
he's a rube in it.
And you're kind of like, oh, maybe that's just who he is, because if you saw him in Valley Girl. But then Peggy Sue Got Married. We watched that not too long ago here.
Yeah?
We watched Moonstruck. It was like pandemic. We had time to like sit still and watch movies. So we watched
Never seen any of those.
Moonstruck is crazier than you would think. He is out to fucking lunch in that movie.
Yeah, like how so? Give me the broad strokes of Moonstruck. It's Cher, right?
He's like it's Cher, and he's like a baker with a wooden hand that lives in a basement or bakes bread in a bake. He's crazy.
Okay.
And having done the research, apparently Vampire's Kiss is a cult hit now. I would like to watch that.
I saw some clips
Vampire's
from
Kiss sounds like one of the titles I made up.
That's why I was getting confused.
Yeah.
I saw some clips from it when I was looking for audio, and I was like, I've never seen this movie. I know it exists. There seems to be no special effects because he's legit wearing the like plastic teeth.
Well, apparently with that movie, he thinks he's a vampire in the movie. He's not a vampire. Here's the IMDb breakdown. After an encounter with a neckbiter, a publishing executive thinks that he's turning into a vampire. Foreshadowing.
Oh, God.
Honeymoon in Vegas was just a good time.
I remember Honeymoon in Vegas. I did like it. What about Leaving Las Vegas? Where do you land on that movie? Because he won an Oscar for it.
That is one of those movies you watch it, and that is a rough watch because it's a well done.
Mm-hmm. Just the once.
Yeah, just it's a one go through to be like, I saw it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not leaving that on TBS in the hotel room on a Saturday.
I had watched it once and thinking it was good. And then I watched it again with, do you remember Christian Rickett, Charlene?
Of course.
Yeah. I watched it with him, and he thought it was hysterical. So now I have no idea how to feel that. When there's that montage of him just walking around with like a bottle of vodka, and he's just all drunk and stumbling around. And I remember Ricketts was almost pissing his pants laughing. So I really saw it kind of like... I have a very vivid memory of that movie being taken away from me, and that it was good. Because like somebody's cynicism just like fucking axed it in half.
You mean you watched a movie with somebody and then they ruined the movie for you? Feels like it might be you, not people watching the movie.
All right. Charlene
Well,
starts asking.
This is a personal moment for No Accounting for Taste listeners.
If you guys don't know, if you ever watch a movie with Charlene, she'll ask you who the best grip is, but when the credits start in the beginning, it's insane.
Fuck off.
Mm-hmm. That's what I have to say. Thank you, Nick.
Be careful. She's the one with the buttons.
Yeah, she likes to press them. Anyways, let's keep going. So I love his action movies. They're fun. I'm not trying to take anything out. He's a pretty good action star.
I've seen, he's made, so we'll get into the personal life of him. He has made a ton. There was some excerpt through the research that somebody was talking about. They were like interviewing him at some biker bar in the South, and they were having a drink. It was a director that was like, they were having a drink at some biker bar in the South while they were in production, and like these like rough looking dudes came in and they recognized him. And of all the things, like one of these bikers goes, I absolutely love Captain Corelli's mandolin. That was what they liked about him. And so he's gone all over the place. A lot of the praise is that he took, because he's not a big ripped dude, and
I mean,
so
he's like a more of a Bruce Willis physical wise.
But even Bruce Willis is still like a macho guy.
Yeah, he's like a smarmy wise ass.
Yeah, whereas Nicolas Cage added this kind of like self-doubt, neurotic element even to his
it's kind of like the way Stallone plays Rocky, except he's not as dumb. But there's like a lot of like, I don't know if I can do this, but instead like he seems more caffeinated than punch drunk.
There's a lot of in retrospect and praise in what I've been reading about Nicolas Cage. A lot of like it was easy to make fun of him along the way. Yeah. Especially over the last few years, but we'll get into that. I want to address some more of these films that I've seen.
Can I say I may have mentioned on here before that I worked at a Blockbuster video. When Nick Cage, I will tell you this, in the 1996 to 1998, 99 range, not a lot of other movie stars' movies rented off the shelves as fast as Nicolas Cage's. And I'm not talking The Rock, I'm talking Snake Eyes, 8mm. Captain Corelli.
You trusted him.
Yes, you did. The guy could open a movie.
He's He's like pepperoni. If pepperoni's in something, you're like, I'll just have that. It's got pepperoni. Calzone, pizza, Hot Pocket, sandwich even.
Yeah.
Pepperoni's in it. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
Stromboli, a fried calzone.
But I'd say because he's so crazy in his characters, he hits that group of people that also love a B movie, who love a bad horror movie. So even if you don't like an action film, you're like, well, this is going to be good because he's going to be off his freaking rocker, right?
Especially the last 10 or so years when he just had to make everything.
Yeah, and
Right.
we should hold on to get it before we get too deep. We can that's going to serve a good chunk, but yes.
I want to watch. I never heard of Trapped in Paradise, where it's him, John Lovitz, and Dana Carvey.
Oh, I know that one.
What?
Okay.
I think they're bank robber. 4 lefts is a circle. That's a line from that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a bank robber there. There's that 90s era, which he got his Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas, and then
This
right
is where
after
dramas were like kind of mainstream. Like it was less like a good movie. Like there were a lot of stuff coming. It was like in this kind of Good Will Hunting-esque era of like those kind of films were coming out all the time, where it was like man versus
prestige
himself.
cinema. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was. I would say, I remember thinking 8mm, because I was the right age. I was like 16. Was the wildest shit I was ever gonna see in my life, and it is David Fincher, I think, too. So, but you got a young Joaquin Phoenix, you got Nicolas Cage. It just have you guys ever see it?
I remember it was it was a movie that again, the Nicolas Cage factor. It's on. Nicolas Cage is in it. I'll watch this. I don't remember completing it. It was like, oh, a movie on TV at home never gets finished.
Okay. Well,
I have to make an event of it. I have to sit down like I'm watching this movie right now. I know it's like a snuff film thing.
yeah. But he gets hired by a rich widower to find out if the snuff film she found in her deceased husband's safe is real.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's I don't know if I
Good
think he
cast.
was that. Yeah, I don't know if I think he's that good in it, or if I just like had never seen like anything like Fincher had done before to that point, and I was like, this looks amazing to me. Like it's very like.
Can I add also, there's, like we were talking before we started recording, there's just so much stuff now. Like if you look at movies before everybody had streaming service, there was a limited amount of what you could take. So movies coming out was a big deal because you didn't have
Yeah.
sitting at home and every movie at your fingertips streaming services just to like half watch if you're bored. You were either going to the movies or you were picking it out from the video store. So that's why like these movies, I think they made more of an impact because there were less movies. So you really could get an opinion about what was out there. At
Yeah,
the time.
and there was the thing. Yeah, there was the thing you would talk about it. Yeah, like,
yeah.
Like
So,
everyone would talk. Oh, we saw that. We saw that this weekend too. It was great. What'd you think? You're like, well, I didn't. Like, and then like people didn't. And the other nice thing was, people just rather liked it or they didn't. They didn't think they knew as much about cinema. Everybody reads blogs now or whatever. So like,
oh fuck yeah.
yeah, like somebody's opinion. I thought it was pretty fun. I like that line where he says, like, go home and fuck the prom queen or whatever. Like you're like. That shit was like, it was a little more enjoyable because not everybody had a million opinions or was talking about nobody knew what a DP was. Like it was a lot more simple. Like,
Yeah. Film critics were actually a thing.
Yeah.
It actually meant, but so that was, I'm realizing now as we're looking, like it was that era of like, that was, especially if you grew up in the suburbs or something, like a movie coming out, that was the thing you were doing. So that's where your face-offs and your Con Airs and the Rocks, like, that's where, like, so now Bringing Out the Dead, I remember liking that one just because it was such a weird.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite Scorsese movie.
Yeah, okay. I gotta watch this.
It's
now
kind of, Ving Rhames is a vision in that film. Next to he is so good as the crazy religious, like ambulance driver who also likes to go look at hookers in 1970s New York.
We're gonna go now. We're gonna go from that. We're gonna jump to a movie that is inexplicably what I'm all about, and it's a bad movie. I'm going with Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, okay. As you
That
know,
is not a good movie.
No, but as you know, I had a slight affinity for nu metal as a young man. Mm-hmm. And if you think me seeing Angelina Jolie with blonde dreads in a movie where she drives cars really fast in that time
God.
wasn't a thing for me, you're out of your goddamn mind. Like
It was
that movie was the idea of
everything.
like cross promotion and synergy. Like we got to have somebody who looks like this. It's so fucking 90s. It's insane.
It's year 2000. It's Angelina Jolie in the year 2000, and it's Cars, and it's a soundtrack,
Yeah.
and it's Cars, and it's Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
And around the same time, the movie Go came out. Remember Go?
Oh yeah.
Tonally very similar. A one-night adventure movie, like where something has to be done in a short amount of time. So the movie is like there's no time to dick around. It's like it's got to happen. I mean, this one's called Gone in 60 Seconds. The other one's called Go. I mean, even in the title, it's like it's happening. There's a level of urgency to this plot.
That's a very good. Yeah.
It's about
Robert Duvall in it. There's not a lot of. Delroy Lindo's in it. Nick Cage, Angelina Jolie.
Timothy Olyphant and Delroy Lindo, two of the coolest people to ever be on screen. Just fucking cool.
That's a real Riggs and Murtaugh there. That's what you want. That's
just
for
take
interracial cop buddy partners. That's a better pair almost.
Just take the same cops from Gone in 60 Seconds. They're the new Lethal Weapon.
Yeah,
just let it happen. The soccer player, that bullet tooth Tony guy, the soccer player.
Oh yeah,
that was known for like pinching people's
speaks.
nuts. Well, he was like, he was a soccer player, like a famous soccer player known for being a real son of a bitch. Like
he's like a hooligan, right?
And stuff. Yeah, he'd grab people's nuts and stuff.
And also cameo by Master P in that film.
Master P, he's a mumbly son of a bitch.
That movie is 90s 2000. Like
I don't know if we.
I don't know when that movie came out, but I know it was sometime in between spring and fall. Like that's a summer movie for sure.
And that's we wouldn't have our Fast and Furious without Gone in 60 Seconds. I don't think.
There's some truth to that. I think
you could remake Gone in 60 Seconds, put it in the middle of Fast and Furious universe. Nobody would know.
It is an ensemble with some lesser known people at the time. Yeah. But they rip.
Yeah. Now we get wild. Now we go.
And he leads the charge in that movie.
Yeah.
He's incredible in it. Like, and it's him sitting behind a wheel most of the time.
Yeah. And it's like saying sexy things to cars.
Yeah. It's like, come on. Yeah.
Like this.
That was the plan, to give you a boner. And you got one.
That was not from Gone in 60 Seconds. That was from something else. What was that from?
I don't know.
Cars are ladies. You can't give the cars boners because the cars are ladies.
What about this?
I guess I was pretty horny.
That could be from any one of his movies.
Yeah. A good way to judge whether someone is full of shit or not is by their peers' opinion of them. So I have a couple of quotes here that Charlene found.
Okay.
Ethan Hawke, an actor respected throughout Hollywood, had to say about Cage in a 2013 Reddit AMA, "I'm kind of obsessed with this Nick Cage." He then said, "He's the only actor since Marlon Brando that's actually done anything new with the art of acting. He's successfully taken us away from an obsession with naturalism into a kind of presentation style of acting that I imagine was popular with the old troubadours." So, is he saying like everybody else is just trying to make it seem like it's a real thing, and he's like somehow holding him like like he's winking, but also he's also getting the job done. He kind of knows that he's over the top.
I don't think. Well, I think it's that he's not winking. He's like, "Oh, look how corny I'm being." I think he's like when you see the difference between a stage performance and a film performance. Like on stage, they had to be expressive. They didn't even have microphones at the time, so everything was louder and more exaggerated because that was theater. And I think that it's that he's bringing that element
of acting to the camera.
It was Sean Penn. Was that the Sean Penn quote?
That was Ethan Hawke.
Oh, Sean Penn, he kind of insulted him. Like Nick Cage isn't an actor; he's a performer. And Nick Cage was like, "Well, yeah, Acting is lying. Performing is art. And I was like, I kind of like the way he flipped it on old Sean Penn with that one.
All three of those guys must go out for the same kind of work a lot.
I know it doesn't happen like that, but you want to think it's like the waiting room when you're auditioning, and it's like, oh, there's Tom Cruise and Sean Penn, everybody running lines in the hallway.
He's so funny.
I know that's not how it happens anymore.
I would love it if it was, but yes, yeah.
At some point, it probably was back in the early '80s. You know.
Hey guys, we're gonna take a quick break, but after we do, we're gonna talk about Nicolas Cage's financial decisions and the ramifications of said things for buying a castle. And we are back. Thanks to our sponsor, Nicolas Cage Cat Toys. The only cat toy that...
Kyle and Shane, who are out of pocket on this fucking show.
Okay. Let's talk about it. Speaking of talking about losing money.
Yeah, perfect timing. But yeah, talking about bad investments. Nicolas Cage.
My man loves to buy himself some houses.
He went a little nuts on the house.
Did you see this? There was like an article list. I'm sorry. Because he bought an insane amount of shit. I also, sorry, I had it up here. I'm just pulling it up right now. But there appears to have been immense personal stakes for Cage too. God damn it! This poor bastard.
He had like a chalet in France. He bought a haunted mansion in New Orleans.
Okay, here it is. I got it right here. In 2000, oh my God. One of the things he blew a bunch of money on, for comparison, he outbid Leonardo DiCaprio for a dinosaur skull. And it was like a bidding war. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do with that, except laugh. It's like a crazy way to lose money.
It's crazy, but also it's not about showing off that he spent money, where so much celebrity is about opulence, and he just bought a bunch of shit that made him happy.
Yeah, like it's not optics.
None of it's outward. It's all for, like, if I went to somebody's house and they had like a Bugatti, I'd be like, wow, that's a pretty fancy car. But if somebody's like, I got a T-Rex skull, that person is 1,000% more cool than somebody who just knew money could get something that's just also expensive but means nothing.
Yes.
This amount of money you traded for this thing that this amount of money. You got a T-Rex skull? But to think about what you can think
you think
about,
a rapper's gonna show off with a flat screen on the roof of their bedroom or whatever kind of thing. Yeah, I get it.
It does go to, like, there is that idea of like why, old money versus new money. A lot of times, not to say rap, but any kind of like musician or sports star that might all of a sudden come into money that came from no money. It's a big thing about, like, I'm successful. I never had any of this stuff. So Nicolas Cage came from the Coppolas. He is from film royalty already. So maybe material goods, he grew up, even I think reading about it, he didn't have them so much himself. His father was a professor of literature or something. But in his family, there was
money around. Yeah.
So the value of those things, like the value of something that's actually just money based, is like even he talks about the houses. He's like, it wasn't about that they would cost a lot of money. It's that he's like, I liked looking at these houses. Like he just,
I think his purchases were genuine. Maybe certainly flippant, but like it does seem like, because he's bought some pretty particular shit, which is kind of what, like, it's not. I mean, he also had like 22 cars. He did some of the gaudier shit, but he also bought a tomb in New Orleans to be buried in, an island, a house, a castle. Like, he's bought some wild shit. like that's kind of it's pretty eccentric, and it's not the typical like G5 or whatever.
Oh no, his Jimmy Kimmel interviews kind of fantastic because he's talking.
I never
about
watched
how
it.
He one story is about how he was in the Bahamas because I think he owned an island there, but he spent $20 and turned it into 20 grand playing roulette, and then he just found an orphanage that night and just gave him the 20 grand. But then somebody called his manager and was like, "Oh, we have a 2-headed snake, and I bet Nicolas Cage would want it." And he did. And then he said he bought a 2-headed snake.
The snake's birth was inspired by a movie he made.
Well, he's just fucking weird all the way through, and I love it because his whole story is like, I had a dream. I kept having a dream about a 2-headed eagle, and then the next day somebody called about this 2-headed snake. It's like, so I was supposed to have it. So he bought this snake for like $80
you mean
grand.
the thing eagles eat?
Yeah, well, it's on par. And then
It's not
he
far
bought
off,
this
I guess.
snake, but then he had to get rid of it because feeding it was too stressful because he had to put a spatula between the two heads because every time he would feed it, the heads would fight each other. So he had to like put a spatula, but he's like, so I just gave it to a zoo and it had a nice life over there. And I just like, you're doing, outside of the real estate thing, I'm like, you're doing everything right with a lot of money.
Yeah. Also, I gotta separate my snake's heads with my spatula. It's something. I think part of it is, he has a lot of means, so he's like famous, rich, weird, and then if he was broke, he'd still be super fucking weird all the time. I don't think it's just money and privilege that's got him this. I think he came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he started off weird, and that's the kind. Like, I think of somebody like Rob Zombie, who, or Johnny Depp has to put on so much jewelry just to take a piss in the morning. I think if Johnny Depp was forced to walk down the hall without jingling like the Beverly Hillbillies Model A,
instead of sounding like
he wouldn't know what to do. Yeah, he wouldn't know what to do with himself. So, I think what if Rob Zombie? There's just a day that he just does not want to be in the Munster Mansion. Eat it. He just wants to have an omelet without like 1,000. Without 1,000 taxidermied hawks looming over his dining table. Whereas Nicolas Cage is just like, nah, this is all for me. This is 100% me. There's nothing outward about this. That's
a good way. Rob Zombie, every time he sits down at a booth, it sounds like everybody emptied a bunch of game tokens for him to be playing with onto a glass countertop. Very much. Yeah.
Why is organ music always playing when you enter a room?
Yeah. That's true. I guess with Nicolas Cage, the weirdest thing you ever see him in is like a fucking snakeskin cowboy hat. He's not covered in a ton of I don't think of crazy outfits when I think of him or anything like that.
No, he's not. He's not locked into a thing. He's just fun weird.
He's just.
Why are we even doing this episode? He's rules.
Some people shit on the man. That's why we do it.
I think he got drunk and he roughed up his wife sometimes.
Yeah, that's not good.
That was about. That's real bad. I think kind of like being drunk and grabbing her and pulling her around. I read some stories about that. Not cool, Nick. And I hope you got your life fixed.
Yeah. But
he's under a lot of stress from losing $150 million over his lifetime. Not an excuse.
It's so much money.
Yeah.
It's $150 million.
But then came the time where he lost it all. The real estate market couldn't pay for any of his houses.
It's weird that
he would not file
couldn't
bankruptcy.
Pay for any of.
Well, no, I mean, if you have 12 mansions at once, it's not weird that you can't pay for any of them.
Yeah, but it's weird that he couldn't pay for any of them, don't you think? That he
Imagine having 5 cell phone bills right now.
I would never have 5. But
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now imagine a dozen mansions.
I wouldn't. Here's the thing with the mansion. I wouldn't even know if I had 12 houses. 12. I would not know where anything is. I wouldn't enjoy. Like I don't. I mean, I might enjoy them, but it would be so it wouldn't feel like my house. It would just feel like this place I own. Yeah, which I guess is what my apartment feels like.
If I had a van with 12 seats, 10 of them would be empty most of the time. If I had a jacket with 12 pockets,
yeah,
that's 11
that's
pockets too many. I could double up. Chapsticks and keys can go in one pocket.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
But sometimes Nicholas just wants to be in Switzerland. Then he wants to be in the Bahamas. Then he wants to be in Las Vegas. That's what he gets to do with those houses.
for a little while. Here's the thing: he made all these poor financial decisions, or he was steered in the wrong direction. That being said, this is what I actually genuinely like about him. This guy knows how to be an actor. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm in a lot of financial trouble. I'm going to go to work. And he just had a real lunch pail attitude, but it was about making movies. Like, the guy dug himself out of a hole the best way he knew how. Because he wasn't going to do it.
A lot of double shifts. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a value in that. And in the article from The Independent that Charlene found, Cage needed money. So he did the thing he knew how to do to earn a living. He acted and acted and acted. Mm-hmm. He starred in a conveyor belt of 46 movies, sometimes filming up to 4 a year. In 2011, a record 5 Nicolas Cage movies came out. Season of the Witch, Drive Angry, Seeking Justice, Trespass, and Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. Cage had 7 film credits in 2018 and 19. Leonardo DiCaprio had that many from 2013 to 2021. So that should show you, like, this guy is a fucking... If anything, he's not lazy. He's just he's a rambling, gambling kind of guy. Yeah.
No, but he went to work. And now I just clicked on, because I did not see in this flurry of films, I just clicked on Primal. What do you think the movie Primal is about?
Oh, my God. Is it about some sexual deviancy? I don't know.
I'm not sure why this isn't a sequel to Con Air. Frank's caught wildlife in the Brazilian jungle, including a 400-pound white jaguar. He ships it on the same ship as an arrested assassin. The assassin breaks free and frees the animal. So, kind of like a grittier reboot of Noah's Ark. We also have 2 murderers on board.
Did you see the unbearable weight of massive talent or whatever?
I thought that was one of the best movies I've seen in recent memory.
Yeah, it was so fucking fun. The guy has enough of a sense of humor about himself too, despite all of his shit. Like, as public a person as he is,
who's angry at Nick Cage? I mean, I think
people just make fun of the movies he's made, and that's why we chose it as But there's a reason for it, and I guess even his big movies are still people are like, well, the Rock is not a good movie, and I think you're an idiot if you think that. It's just a different kind of good movie.
But there's a quote that he says somewhere in all that stuff that is like, I'm in on the joke, basically. He's like, I know what the joke is, and I'm leaning into it, Yeah. And he does.
Well, I think that's what not everything everywhere all at once, but
exactly.
Massive talent one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's acknowledging. Well, I think he had his doubts about it because he's like, oh, am I going to just be making fun of myself? And the director was very like, no, this is, it's a very human story. And it was, oh man, it was a good movie. And, but he also
my favorite
I did
part
not see.
That movie is when him and Pedro Pascal are talking about their favorite movies. And Pedro Pascal says Paddington 2 is his favorite movie. And then they watch it, and Nick Cage is like, it's an amazing film. And he comes
I watched Paddington 2 based on the recommendation from within that film. And
Did you like it?
It's a very good movie. we also watched it coming down on mushrooms on Rachel's birthday last year. It was necessary.
Oh, I love that. Oh man. Okay. Why don't we? I think you and I are on the same page here. Charlene, do you want to add?
I don't know who's angry with him.
I love Nick Cage.
Maybe some ex-wives. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we hear from the litter box? I bet he's got 12 hairless cats that he bought that cost him a fortune.
No, he's got one gray Maine Coon named Merlin and a crow.
His best friend. Merlin.
I read the.
Oh, that's right, because he did the thing where he ate mushrooms with his cat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our cats. I'm sure our cats eat mushrooms, and we're gonna hear from them right after this commercial break. Meow meow. And we're cat.
Oh,
Everybody.
no. Wow. Okay, well.
I can tell you didn't want to laugh at that one, Kinane, but it got you anyways. That's how I know it was a slippery good one.
A slippery good one.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Here's the first voicemail. It's a charming story about Nick Cage. It's kind of long, so let me know if you want to pause.
All right.
Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage. So, I have
Nicolas
a
Cage.
charming story. I live in New Orleans, and I have a charming story about New Orleans and Nicolas Cage. So, as you may or may not know, we have a cemetery in New Orleans called St. Louis No. 1. It's the oldest, I think it's the oldest cemetery in the city. It's definitely the most famous, there's a very, very famous tomb in St. Louis No. 1 that allegedly belongs to Marie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen. And people have for years and years and years and years and years come through and made little crosses and X's on the tomb as a way of like commemorating the visit. You're supposed to, make a wish, or you ask for Marie Laveau's intercessions, and you make this like X, and so the whole tomb is covered in these X's. And because St. Louis No. 1 is a national, I don't know if it's a state landmark or if it's a national landmark, but it's maintained by the city, and they have to come through and they have to clean everything. And but you can't clean off all of these hash marks and stuff like that because it's happened so many years. So despite their best efforts, there's still.
Did this guy just call us with another podcast?
Well, Nicolas Cage bought the
Right,
very
here we go.
last space in St. Louis No. 1 and put this giant pyramid tomb there. He built this giant pyramid tomb, and women typically, or whoever, people in general, have come through over the years since he built it, and they've been kissing the tomb and leaving lipstick marks. Well, the deal is that all of the tombs get cleaned whenever they come through and to maintain the cemetery. And Nicolas Cage got into not like a bad argument, but he doesn't want the lipstick cleaned off the tomb. And a person I know used to be one of the people who was responsible for maintaining the cemetery, and kind of got into it with him, where he's sitting there going, like, I don't want the lipstick washed off. And she's like, I'm sorry, I have to do it. And he's, well, what about Marie Laveau's tomb? Why is, and it's like, that's been
Pretty
happening
solid
for
Nick Cage
over 100
impression,
years.
by the way.
Like, we can't change that. So, I don't know.
This guy.
I find that to be, because apparently he's not a jerk about it. He didn't, get up in her face, but he was apparently like gracious and understood that was her job, but he still really wants those lipstick marks to stay there. And,
Just for the listeners, voicemails can only be 3 minutes long, and then you get cut off.
Okay.
Well, he wanted the lipstick on
that was 20 seconds is what that should.
Was that he wanted the lipstick on his own tomb? I fell out for a minute there.
I think that's what
people were kissing Nicolas Cage's pyramid.
Yeah, he bought a pyramid.
It's a national treasure.
It's a national treasure.
He
Good
better
God,
be.
gross.
You better be kissing my fucking tomb.
It's I guess it's nice to see that he was just like he was having a respectful disagreement with somebody who has to go clean graves in New Orleans. By the way, if you're kissing any grave in New Orleans, ugh, it's my favorite place to go. But the amount of rainwater and rats that run around that city.
Don't kiss things that are just outside and not yours.
Yeah, but I like
Blarney Stones.
Yeah, it's nice to see that this guy's a nice guy when he's talking to people who might be perceived in being a lower station in life.
Nicolas Cage would be like the benevolent, mentally ill homeless man in your neighborhood.
I bet he would have great homeless tricks.
Oh, he's just out there. If anything, anything he's done in his life, if a homeless man told you that, like, well, once I bought a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull, but then I had to give it back to Mongolia. That's what a fun old uncle is just gonna lie to your 5-year-old kid.
Yeah. I had a castle. Now I'm here. Like,
I had a castle.
Drive angry.
I had to make a lot of movies to pay for the castle, and then I bought a dinosaur skull, and I had a crow that talked to me.
Cuts me out.
I love all of it. Yeah, I love everything about it.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Okay.
All right.
This message
we got
is
more?
titled 3 thumbs up, so we'll see.
So Nick Cage, huh? Well, he's really great in Leaving Las Vegas. He's really great in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So that's 1, 2, 3 thumbs up. I guess he's a pretty good actor. And any other kind of personal stuff, I'm not really worried about too much. So, cool.
All right.
Our man, separating the art from the artist.
This guy knows what he likes.
Yeah. Let me see, Dad. It's 3 thumbs up. Boom, boom, boom.
I don't believe it. I don't believe in averages. I just like what I like. Here's 3 movies I remember, and 3 of them are the ones that I like. He's great at this.
All right, this message is titled Weirdest or Best Shit.
Meow, kitty cats. This is George in Denver. I just want to say Nicolas Cage is probably a treasure of all the actors that have ever acted. He either does the weirdest shit you're ever going to see or the best shit you're ever going to see. But either way, you're entertained. That's all I got to say about it. See ya.
That's a good point.
That was what he said about himself at one point. He's like, if anybody mistook this for me not caring, that's why I put out all these movies and seemed like I was being hokey. And I was like, no, it's because I cared. It's because I gave everything to each role, no matter what the movie was. And so that's why some of them worked and some of them were weird, but none of them were just dullards, like my man just said. So,
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Nicky Hustle. That's what I'm going to call him.
Okay. This one is also a little on the long side, so let me know if you want to pause.
Hey, Kyle and Shane. This is Justin from Salt Lake City, Utah, calling about that Nicolas Cage you got coming up on your upcoming podcast. You two are my favorite podcast. I look forward to watching on YouTube all the time while I'm gaming. So my thing with Nicolas Cage is I was exposed to him at a very early age with Raising Arizona. Watched that growing up with my mom and dad. Probably his absolute best film. And ever since then, did a deep dive with all of his films. Everything he does is fantastic, off the wall. Second best to Raising Arizona has to be Face Off. I know there's criticism with people saying Leaving Las Vegas and all those other films, but Raising Arizona and Face Off, there's no better,
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, also...
Did you cut him off at 3 minutes?
I didn't cut him off. Nope, he cut himself off.
Okay.
I will say, let's think of it this way. He has put out at least 10 great movies, however you want to qualify great. If any band put out 10 great albums, they'd be heralded. So I think you got to give that. And also something I respect, not that I think it's unartistic, the man never went to TV to get the checks. He stayed in the film world where his heart lied Like he never pulled like like some guys just go to law, whatever. They just want to get their weekly dollars. Yeah. So I think he deserves some credit for that too. He stayed in the universe he fell in love with.
He's a movie star.
Yeah.
He's a movie star. I lost my train of thought. I'm just on board. I'm like looking up. Oh, that's what it was. We watched Face Off here not too long ago. And holy shit. As like watching those movies now where I'm past like the youthful excitement of the blockbuster summer movie is gone out of my life.
Yeah.
The cynicism of a big silly movie is also gone, hence the love for Fast and Furious. So to go back and revisit these things knowing what special effects were for the time and what the appetite for big action movies were, and to watch it with that lens, Face Off was, I think it took us 3 nights to watch it. I think
to stop laughing.
Well, yeah, because we'd put it on at the end of the night and we're getting kind of sleep, we just wanted
yeah, you're doing I'm dozing off. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, or no, that one took us 2 nights because we started it late. But that's when we had a couple drinks and what a good time.
What is your favorite scene in Face Off? Do you have one?
It was some for the ironic reasons of the heavy-handed. It's called Face Off.
Oh yeah,
and he can't top. They're always touching faces in the movie. Because Rachel would just be like, "Stop touching his face. We know what we're watching." Like everybody, it was always touching his son's face or touching his wife's face. They're always touching the faces because it's about the face. It's Face Off, and it just got.
I never noticed how much face touching is in that movie.
Yeah, there's so much not symbolic symbolism in it.
Oh my god!
That corniness was fun for the wrong reason.
Yes,
but then watching John Travolta just be crazy Nick Cage.
Yeah, that's that is
watching them act as each other's acting style. Truly had to be kind of a challenge theatrically.
Do you think they were going back to their dressing rooms or their trailers just being like, this is what this fucking guy thinks I do? He's doing me doing that.
That's how you think I am?
Yeah, all right, well, we're going to take it up a notch now, Johnny. And
then the director's leave it. It works for the film.
Yeah, John.
You guys are supposed to hate each other. This is great.
Then they're gonna and then he's like, and now some doves. That gunfight in the church. Oh my god. Everything. That movie is so watchable and sustainably bad. I can't understand how I always want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, the fight scene in the prison on the oil derrick in the middle of the ocean.
That was a good one.
Yeah, when he was going, woo! I'm Castor Troy! Oh, my God. He just keeps doing it the whole time. He's screaming at everyone, and then he just holds up the cigarette that is still in one piece after a fucking prison riot.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyone got a light?
And the fact that I saw that, and that was the gold guns from Unbearable Weight of Talent or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I didn't remember anything about Face Off. Then I saw that movie. I'm like, that's from a real Nicolas Cage movie. Of course it is. And then I watched Face Off, and I'm like, and it made the other movie even that much better.
Oh, of course it did.
It was like sipping wine after a nice piece of food. It just accentuated the flavor from before even more so. It's great.
Let's take another call. Let's see what we got.
This is Dave from South Carolina, and I
Dave.
fucking love Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is a true actor. For script choices aside, for better or for worse, he makes a choice on his character, and even if it is dumb as shit, he commits to it 100%. And you just have to respect that. I believe he is a national treasure.
Mm-hmm.
That's Dave from South Carolina, everybody. Our man. I don't... Everything he says, like, the guy's a worker. I think that's something people like. He just goes... He commits, he works, he's going to leave it all out on the field, even though I don't know if he's ever done a sports movie.
He's... I'd go to the IMDb about that. You know what? He's like all the dancing ladies at the Claremont Lounge. Some of them are hot and sexy, and some of them just crush beer cans with their big tits. But they're all fulfilling the purpose.
Sorry.
I don't know what that clip was.
It talks about him dancing.
Oh.
I just got so excited. I had it. I cut you off. I'm so sorry.
He's gonna entertain you no matter what it takes.
Yeah. You won't be bored, and you will be engaged.
He did make a movie called Jiu-Jitsu. Less sports. He's just... Well, here we go. Every 6 years, an ancient order of jiu-jitsu fighters joins forces to battle a vicious race of alien invaders. But when a celebrated war hero goes down in defeat, the fate of the planet and mankind hangs in the balance.
I'm calling it. I don't want to do it anymore. See, that's what you're gonna... Every 6 years?
I think there was a minute where anybody with a production company and $50,000 was gonna get a Nicolas Cage movie. And he knows you got good ones, you got bad ones. Listen, there's a boat with an assassin and a jaguar on it. Nick Cage is in there. Yeah. These kung fu, the jiu-jitsu guys have to fight aliens. We got my man Nick Cage in there.
Let us know if you want to do a watch along. And what's it called? What's the jiu-jitsu movie again?
Jiu-jitsu.
And I definitely want
if you want to watch jiu-jitsu with us sometime, guys, let us know.
But you also get a Mandy. You also get a Between Worlds. You get some of this wild choice, awesome stuff.
One thing we didn't talk about is a movie. Maybe one of my favorite movies of his is Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass was a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing in that role as the vigilante dad. He's so good in it. And when he dies, it's an amazing scene. He kills it.
This is a true story that sounds like a bad movie, but he was in USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage. Do you know the story about the USS Indianapolis?
No,
it's
I do not.
Well, this is 100% true. During World War II, an American Navy ship is sunk by a Japanese submarine, leaving 890 crewmen stranded in shark-infested waters. That's what happened. An entire boat's worth of crew just floating in the ocean, watching each other get picked off. Director Mario Van Peebles.
Oh, my man, MVP.
Haven't seen Van Peebles out in a while.
God, good for him. Well, I think we can all say that this episode has been perfection. I would...
You thought of that 3 days ago, didn't you?
No. Some of the stuff you have to mold and shape. It took a little longer than that.
Oh, Color Out of Space. That's the one I was thinking of. It's also really good.
Colorado Space?
Color Out of Space.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know that one. But, I mean, I think he kills it. I know he gets dogged. I know he gets dogged for like making some shit movies, but the guy was doing it to pay off some debts, and what's more honorable than that?
He was making right with the world. Also, a movie, have you seen this yet? Which is like, we're laughing at the ones that are stupid, but this one's supposed to be great. Willy's Wonderland?
No. I don't even know.
I've heard about this one. A quiet drifter is tricked into a janitorial job at the now condemned Willy's Wonderland. The mundane tasks suddenly become an all-out fight for survival against wave after wave of demonic animatronics. Fists fly, kicks lands, titans clash, and only one side will make it out alive. He's a janitor at like a Chuck E. Cheese, and the animatronic band comes to life. And it's supposed to be awesome. And I think it...
I want to see it, and I don't think it's going to be good. But that's what I'll say.
I saw some clips from it, and I wanted to know what the movie was, and I'm glad I now do, because I will watch it tonight.
Fucking
Yeah,
me too.
I think so.
Let's watch Willy's Wonderland together.
I love it.
And Kyle's new Rompus room.
Oh.
Yeah, my screening room.
Kyle's Rompus room also sounds like a Nick Cage movie.
Oh my gosh.
Everything sounds like a Nick Cage movie. Just do it. Say something random, right? The Dirty Desk or whatever. I don't know. All these titles, anything is a title for his movies. It's fucking great. All right, everyone. We've given you more than enough free shit to listen to on your Monday morning drive.
This comes out on Tuesdays, I think.
No, it comes out on Mondays.
Does it?
Yeah. Jesus. They know why the numbers are slipping. Anyways. Well, he's Kyle Kinane on the internet. You can find him anywhere. Kyle, anything you want to plug?
Skittles. I forgot how much I like Skittles. Oh. Just the regular flavors, too. You can get tropical, but I just got this bag of regular ones sitting on my shelf for a while. And it's got the new original lime up.
Great fun.
He also has a new comedy special out on YouTube called Shocks and Struts that you can enjoy.
Nobody cares.
I'm Shane Torres. You can catch me at ShaneIsAComedian.com. Shane Torres across all social media platforms. And I will be in Bridgeport, Connecticut next week when this comes out. And also I'll be at Montreal just for laughs. So please come see me.
I'm going to be just for laughs, too.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun. Come see us. David Borey's going to be there, too. And he is insistent on us going to a famous place in Montreal that is not poutine-based.
It's Boutine.
So, our thanks to Charlene Connolly, the world's greatest producer. Our thanks to Bill Burr for having us on his platform that has not updated one of our episodes since March of 2022. Oh my gosh. So, thank you guys all for listening. That click you just heard is a gun in my mouth. Goodbye, everyone.
The Some Things Comedy.